everybody. Thank you for tuning into my next Facebook video. This one is all about alcohol inks. A lot of people are doing these right now and using this beautiful, luscious medium. And most people work on paper. They work on, and so do I, on paper called Yupo paper, Y-U-P-O. Comes in different sizes. It actually even comes in large sheets. This is one I was just kind of playing with yesterday. So I'm going to show you how to use alcohol inks in the way that I do on the paper, but I'm also going to show you how to use the inks on an encaustic panel. So I've already prepared one today. This is a birch panel. This is actually an old painting. And I have about 6 or 7 layers of white wax on this that have been fused. It's nice and cool. So we're going to use alcohol inks on paper and wax today. So I'm just going to jump right into it. So I am using some denatured alcohol, and this is 91%. This really works well. I'll also use a variety of alcohol inks that I buy from craft stores like Michael's or online, and I'll put some of those in the comments so you can tell me which ones I use. But this is the way I start. I'm spraying the alcohol ink onto the paper and then choosing whatever color and just kind of letting that flow. So some people use like a can of air, but I like to use my breath. So you can get these nice little splatters. And then if I don't like a little splatter up there, I can use more ink and alcohol and start to make these flow. So this is actually how I create some of my encaustic paintings as well. Sometimes I get it in my hair and my hair turns orange. But I'm just kind of guiding the alcohol ink with the alcohol, clear alcohol, and it just makes these beautiful marks. So then you can also use a blending solution, and that will actually almost carve a mark out of the middle there. And now I'm going to add a little black. There's almost really no right or wrong to this. Everyone does it in a different way. So I'm going to start up at the top again and kind of follow that line with the alcohol and just keep letting these blend. I also use some Q-tips sometimes, and I can kind of move the ink around like that. Create a little groove there. So getting some really beautiful lines. You can see how all these little undulations are just lovely, and they change as they dry. I'm going to squirt a little. Look at that. And sometimes I leave these little drips, and sometimes I want them to move. Sometimes I just leave them there. Another little trick I have is to spray some alcohol ink on a paper towel. And kind of blend like that. Maybe blend a little more. Sometimes I decide to leave splatter marks, and sometimes I get rid of them. And for the most part, I choose some colors and I put them out so that maybe I have a warm palette or a cool palette or a little surprise pop in there. But then I just let the ink tell me what to do. There is just a little way that I work with alcohol ink. If something's bothering me, like kind of that patch right there, maybe I'll go back in and activate it with this clear blender. Kind of smooth it a little bit. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but that's okay. So I kind of got rid of that little hole right there. And now it's just feeling like it has a little bit of a flow and a composition to it. And actually I really like these little splatters so right there, so I'm just gonna leave them. And there's actually even a slight blue tint to this, and I didn't add any blue, I just used orange and black. But for some reason, when you add the blender and the alcohol, different pigments start to come out. So I'll set that one aside, and we'll move over to the wax. So again, this is a birch panel, got some nice layers of wax on it. And we're gonna kind of just do the same thing. This time, maybe try to keep the ink right in the middle. And I'm gonna use both blender and alcohol ink, because why not? They act a little bit differently. And I usually use gloves because this does not clean up very easily from under the fingernails, but I didn't put them on today. So you can see how that moves on top of the wax. It's very similar. And then sticking kind of with the cool palette, just gonna add some spots and just, again, you hear me say this a lot, just I'm following consciousness wherever it seems like we should add something. So I just added a little blender in there. Let me get a Q-tip and just see what happens if I just start to swirl that around. And then I'll put some more alcohol ink on it. Just give me some nice spots there. And there's also, see, I'm kind of getting it all over my hands already, but this is a bronze, which is beautiful. And put that in a kind of a negative space right there. And look how that kind of blends together. So you see how that underneath is kind of coming through the blue. We just put a little dab of blender in there, maybe squirt a little bit. Just playing with this is just so wonderful. And then I'm using a Q-tip to even bring out the white that's underneath. So this hasn't dried that long. A little black right there. But the reason that I like using wax sometimes as opposed to the paper is because you can also light it on fire, which is very fun. So I'm gonna get that black over the other side a little bit, and then you can light this on fire. So where's my mask? Sorry about that, gotta have a mask. So you don't want to do this with paper because the paper will burn. Look at that, and these little cellular marks that this is creating, and it's kind of bending some of these little straggly lines. I don't want to do it to the whole thing. It's just kind of nice to have that option. So that is kind of a fun thing to do. You've seen on some of my other really big pieces called Big Dreams that I kind of add a little orange every once in a while or connect some of these shapes together. Just see how they want to work. And if you don't like something, sometimes you just kind of pick it right back up with a paper towel. And another thing I love about wax is that you can actually scrape off some of the pieces too. That's a very forgiving if you don't like the little section that you're working on. Maybe I want to put some more. There you go. So I could go on and on. These videos are supposed to be 10 minutes, but I could do this all day. This is another piece that sort of looks like a floral. This one's created on panel, you can see. And this one's created on the paper, like I did before. And here's one more that is created on panel. Nice thick panel on that one. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for watching. In the comments, I will be posting a link. If you could follow that to my website, I have tons of workshops that I'm offering this fall. I wanted to remind you that if you sign up by September 7th, you and a friend will receive 20% off and also a piece of my original artwork. I'm also offering 20% off of private lessons in specific dates in September and October. So please go to the website to learn more and come play with me.